Hi, thanks for listening to the Monthly Social here on YouTube. If you haven't already, please click the subscribe button. It would mean the world to us. All right, hope you enjoy the rest of the show. Take care.
Hello, I'm back with another HelloFresh dinner that I'm going to try making. This is a sweet and smoky chipotle chicken with fresh salad and zesty rice. The estimated time to make this is 40 minutes. Now, I've spent the last 5 minutes just preparing from lessons learned from doing the last couple. Got 2 pots ready, I've got a pan ready, I've got a lined sheet pan here as well. I've got a bowl that I think I need based on the instructions, salt, pepper, and a few other things. I'm gonna open up the bag now. This is the bag that it comes in, and the chicken came in this package. There you go, a little wet because I had it in water in the fridge. But we've got 4 pieces of chicken there. So I'm gonna go ahead and open this bag. And let's see what's in the bag. I feel like it's one of those cooking shows where, you open it up and they say, oh, you gotta cook with these ingredients, and you put it in the cart and there you go. Okay, we have a bag of spring mix. So I'm gonna set that aside because I think that's for a little bit later. We got 2 limes here, and I know I was reading that I have to zest one of these. Now, the one I did yesterday, the lemon was so small I came close to zesting a part of my hand in there. These are certainly not the biggest limes, so we'll see what happens with that. I do have to wash this stuff still. We have 2 tomatoes. These look like Roma tomatoes, a little bit different than the one from yesterday. Prepackaged. We've got a couple of onions, and I think I have to dice one and slice one a little bit differently. Okay, here's our grain bags again. Now, so yeah, the last recipe I made, I said I have no idea what's in these because it just says grains, until my assistant pointed out that underneath the big thing that says grains, underneath it tells you what it is in font, I don't know, 6 or 7. So in this case, it says basmati rice. And so they've given us 2 of these, roughly 300 grams worth. I'm gonna set those aside here because I have a pot that we're gonna cook with in that. And then, per usual, I think I've got a whole bunch of sauces. So I've got 2 pouches of honey. I have 2 pouches of this Zesty Garlic Blend. In these little packages, and set those aside. And I've got 2 packages of chipotle sauce. Right? 2 packages of chipotle sauce. So that's it. So aside from some onion skin, that's empty. The bag is empty. So I'm gonna go off and wash the vegetables, and then I'll come back and let you know what the next step is. Okay, so the next step is to get this going. Put in my pot here 6 cups of water, 2 teaspoons of salt, and I'm going to get that on the stove and get it boiling. Start preheating the oven at 450 degrees. Then I'm going to start chopping some of the vegetables. To slice the onions, the green onions. Got to wash and clean and cut the zucchinis into 1/4-inch rounds. And cut the tomatoes into 1/4-inch pieces. And then, of course, there's my miniature sized lemon, which I'm supposed to zest, and cut the other piece in half, and then put the other ones into quarters. I don't know how much of this lemon is going to be left when I'm done. I may have to go into the fridge and get some additional lemons based on what they're asking me to do in this cart. I'm going to go and prep all that, and then I'll be back and I'll show you what it looks like and what the next steps are. Okay, so I've washed the vegetables and the produce, if you will. This is the spring mix that I washed, and this isn't in the instructions, but I washed it, spun it, tried to dry it. But what I'm going to do while I'm doing the other things, just going to take a paper towel and just hug this lettuce with it, the spring mix with it, and just let it sit. The paper towel will absorb some moisture. If I was making a bigger salad, I might use like a tea towel or something like that, but in a few minutes I'll probably turn over the mix in the bowl and use a different paper towel, and that'll just absorb some of the moisture to give you a little bit of a more crispy lettuce. Now, Interesting observation on the spring mix. I don't think this is the kind of spring mix I like, and I can usually tell just from the aroma from it. It's I don't want to use the word stale. It's got a bit of a stale aroma, but the lettuce is not stale. It's just the type of spring mix that it is. It tends to be a little bit more on the bitter side, so it'll be interesting by the time I'm done the dressing if that changes that. So that'll be something interesting to do. I'm gonna go ahead and preheat my oven to 425 degrees before I start doing this. Then I'm gonna zest the lime. I'm gonna cut the tomato, cut the onions, and then we'll get to the rice. So I'm gonna go prep all the vegetables. I'll show you what those look like, and get the oven going, and I'll be back. Okay, so I've finished cutting all of the produce. There is the onions. They are in longer slices. And there's the cubed onions. There's my lemon zest, or sorry, not my lemon zest, my lime zest, and I've got some lime juice. And I've got the tomatoes that are quartered and set aside. I think they're for the salad. So we just put those aside for now. And like I mentioned earlier, I've adjusted my salad just to try and dry it out a little bit. So now I'm gonna go ahead and start cooking the rice. And what that involves is putting some butter heating up a small pot, throwing some butter in there once it's hot, and then adding the rice and boiling that through, and adding some salt and a few other ingredients that I'll talk about after, and get that going before we move on to the chicken. So I'll be back. Okay, so I've gone ahead and finished cutting all of the produce. There's my long onions. There's my cubed onions. I've got my lime zest. I've got my lime juice. Got the tomatoes diced for the salad a little bit later. I'm heating up a pot for the rice, and in a moment I'm going to stir in 2 tablespoons, I think, of some butter. And then once that has melted, I'm going to add 2.5 cups of water, add in the rice, bring it to a boil, add in some of the seasoning that they tell me to add in here. And once I've got that going, I'm going to go on and start making the dressing for the salad by pickling the remainder of these red onions. Now, I didn't cube all of the onions. I know not everybody enjoys onions with some of their food, so I reduced it. I left 1/4 of an onion. In the recipe thing, it only says 1 onion, but they sent me 2, so I just made a judgment call on that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do those things. I'm gonna get the rice going, and then I'll come back with some of the next steps. Okay, I've got the basmati rice boiling. I've included the diced onions in there. I've got the longer cut onions along with lime juice, water, cooking in the smaller pot. I'm going to transfer it to a bowl and put that in the fridge. That's for the salad a little bit later. Now I'm going to go ahead and take care of the chicken. I'm going to pat dry it, put it in the pan to brown it, and then put it on the lining sheet and put it in the oven. I'm going to go do those things. This stuff happens fast sometimes, and then I'll get back to you and show you what it all looks like in the next step. Okay, so I've got the rice cooked. It's now been set aside and taken it off the stove. I've got the salad dressing from the pickled onions ready as well. And I've got the chicken cooked on the frying pan on the stove just to brown it. It's in the oven for 8 minutes. I'm gonna take it out. I'm gonna add some honey to it, and then it's gonna go back in the oven for cooking, and then we'll finish the salad. I'm gonna hit pause here for a second, and I'm going to bring you over and show you the rice and the salad pickled onions. Okay, so there in the bowl is what came off the stove after the long onions were cooked with the sugar and the salt on the stove, and that's gonna go in the fridge till we're ready to serve the salad. And covered up is the basmati rice, and that's off the heat now, and that'll stay here while we're waiting for the chicken. So we'll be back and I'll show you the chicken in a little while. Okay, so the final meal is done, and I'm going to show you there. I'll take a picture of it as well. There's the chicken, basmati rice, and the spring mix salad presented. Everybody's going to eat it. I'm going to add a little bit of chipotle sauce to it. Just drizzle it on. So we have that. All right, I'll let you know how it tastes. That was about 50 minutes. Okay, so usually I show you as I close things out. This is the garbage bowl. So in terms of waste, that was it. This turned out to be, I think, the favorite meal of the last 3 so far for everybody. Chicken, I said, was juicy. The salad was flavorful. The rice was flavorful as well. We actually, for the first time, I think, ended up with a little bit more leftovers, enough for a small lunch the next day, and still some rice. So there was a lot of rice in this package. But overall, the time to cook it was in the range, within 5 minutes of what they predicted. Fairly easy enough to cook. Lots of pots and pans left over, though. They make you use a lot of pots and pans. Minimal waste. And come back for the next one.